If you have a cell phone, we'd ask that you turn it to silent at this time. And we will proceed. First item of business is the review of the minutes from the April 12th, 2022 meeting. I need a motion to accept the minutes as typed.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
You got a motion, need a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, let it be known by an uplifted hand. Minutes are accepted as printed. Next item of business will be a variance application for Mr. Michael Whitman. Mr. Whitman, are you present? All right. If you would, sign our sheet there and state your name. You have 15 minutes to present your case. After that time, we'll ask questions.
So I'm Michael Whitman. I am from Dallas. I'd like to put a billboard up as an incentive. One, to get new tenants in, I can advertise them on the billboard just to keep them there, just like I did at Dallas Crossing. And then when I'm done with that, I can use the billboard from my plumbing company, which I run locally here. And the only situation is the county's rule. The state actually has no rule in a zoned area for billboards. If it was unzoned, it would be 300 feet from the residence. The closest residence on the west side of this property is 640 feet. Paulding County wrote a rule that said that it needed to be 300 foot from a residential property line, which the residential property line across the street is forested for 300 foot plus, well, 600 foot before it gets to the house across the street. So there's no visibility at all from this house across the street that's in conflict. All the houses behind it are over 300 feet away, which meets the county requirement for the billboard, and it won't be seen from those houses either. So that's basically it. The property zone properly for a billboard, it's B2. The property's going to be, 92 is going to be 4-lane there. They've already sent plans for widening the road, which is also going to, I asked for basically the rule to be 300 feet from a residence, but they wrote it on this application for your notes as reducing it from 300 to 140 foot to a residential property line. But once the road is widened, that distance is going to increase once they do the eminent domain, which they already have the plans to 4-lane 92 right there. So, is there any specific question that
What's the size of the sign?
It's 14 by 48 and it'll be 35 feet tall, which is the standard size for 99% of billboards in town or in the state. That's 14 feet by 48 feet.
All right. Any questions?
I have a question. Did there used to be some trees along the frontage of this property?
I did. I replanted them all with crepe myrtles. They're going to be 25 feet tall.
Along the front?
I replanted the whole front.
Oh, okay.
You know, half were dead, so I ripped it out. I put the hollies and crepe myrtles every 10 foot.
Okay.
I redid all the islands. I replanted crepe myrtles in all the islands. I put a mulch bed in. I was trying to make some street appeal to the place. I resurfaced the parking lot, repainted the building.
Yeah, I didn't go by the site. I just looked online, and it looked like that at one time there were some trees, but then they'd been taken out on the street view. But it sounds like you've replanted some since then, I guess.
I redid the landscaping, and On the side, there was a bunch of pine trees, and I did plant a bunch of cryptomeria in the back as a barrier for the other houses, because, the pine trees are not that stable. So I prefer to have something that's more stable there than pine trees tipping on the building. I mean, they were within 35 feet of the building, some monster pine trees, and I just don't feel they're good in wind.
And you're working with a vendor that's going to supply lighting that won't be, causing any nuisances to the adjacent property owners, right?
Yes, the lights, the board's going to be facing toward the road.
Mhm.
And the houses that are behind sit in the hole, so,
Mhm.
I mean, they're 30 foot below this, my lot.
It's the houses across the street.
Oh,
from
across,
92.
across the street, nothing's visible. I mean,
Right.
it's forested. There's only one house across the street in conflict.
Right, that's
that-
what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and there's no possibility they could see that board from their property.
Will you keep the existing monument sign there? Because it looks like it's going to be right where,
On the
Yeah.
top, right, same spot, but right above it.
yeah, okay.
So now I left enough room for the DOT already has plans, so, when they widen the road, it doesn't have to be moved out of the way.
I noticed that they had shown some future right-of-way there, and you were trying to stay, I guess, 10 feet beyond that. So
Yeah,
it looks like there's plenty of distance there.
There is,
So it doesn't impact the widening at all.
no, I wouldn't want to have to deal with the DOT of moving the board anyway. And they've already taken some of the properties across the street for widening, so I think it's just a matter of time before they purchase my little strip of land, which they've already indicated which they're going to take.
Right.
Any other questions? Chris, has there been any opposition to this?
No, sir, we've had no opposition.
On this variance, is it treated the same way as any other variance that signs had to be posted?
That's correct.
Any other questions from the board?
And I did send out what was it, I think your office sent out 15 letters to every surrounding person.
That's correct. All the adjoining property owners received notification letters also.
And no opposition.
No opposition.
And you'll be responsible for maintaining the sign for the life of the sign?
Absolutely. The state permit will be in my name, so, I mean, if I don't keep the permit up to date, I have to take it down.
Chris, is there any county requirements as far as maintenance for the signs, or is it all gonna be state because it's on the state road?
Actually, under our sign regulations, they are required, the owner's required to maintain the billboard.
Just so it's the same
So
as
we
the
could,
state?
we could go back and cause that to be maintained.
Is that one thing that I've seen over the years, and I'm just stating a preference, that when signs are not being used and whoever the last leasee was, they leave the old billboards up, it becomes torn and tattered and doesn't look good. But the way I understand as long as you own the property, you'll be maintaining and advertising it solely for your use.
Correct.
It's not a rental sign.
It'd be mainly for my use. I may rent it out to the tenants. That's my, just as an incentive to get people to move in. Just like I do maintain the 4 billboards at the corner right there, and I let the city of Dallas have a face on the digital just for pro bono.
All right.
This
Any other-
board will not be digital, right?
No, it's
just going
just,
to
it's just a static board.
be, okay.
Any other questions? I need a motion to proceed.
Motion to approve.
Need a second.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by an uplifted hand. It's unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's no other business at this time. Meeting's adjourned.
Aye.